on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
And we're back. It's great to have with us once again Jonathan Pollard. He's in addition, you know that he's was a former spy for Israel. He was involved in intelligence, and he's certainly, since he moved to Israel, been involved in what's happening in Israel. Now he's running for Knesset. We'll talk about his candidacy on the program. So, Jonathan, Shana Tova, thank you for joining us.
Tova, Zev. Shana Tova.
Good to speak with you again. So, what's happening? What made you decide that you want to run for Knesset?
I was originally approached by Itamar Ben-Gvir a couple years after I came to Israel to run with him. And my wife, Esther, Alea Shalom, had just died. And my head really wasn't into politics at all, as you could imagine. And I thanked him very much. He and I are friends. And I have a lot of respect for him and his policies. But I went out with a statement saying, that I want to thank you, but I've suffered enough. And but I followed that up by something that did not get me a lot of friends in the Knesset. I kind of copied what Natan Sharansky said. I said, actually, I'm probably the most appropriate candidate for the Knesset since I've already been to prison. But this didn't go over well with the MKs. No, what happened was October 7th. My wife, Rivka, current wife Rivka, and I were getting ready for Shachrit on that Black Saturday. And I have a security phone because of threats to my life. So it started blinking red, and under those conditions, I have to open it up. GoPro feed from the Nukba terrorists. And Rivka looked at me and said, "Is this like some kind of sick movie that they're doing, or what is this?" I said, "No, sweetie, it's real." And what happened at that point was the following. For many years, I had thought that I was the exception to the rule, that my abandonment and betrayal by the Israeli government and intelligence services had been an outlier. It was just something strange that just for political reasons had resulted in a disaster for me. But on that October 7th, I suddenly realized that the entire country had been abandoned and betrayed by the political establishment, left, right, and center, and by the intelligence and security services, and most importantly, by the army. And I just said to myself at that point, I have to stop fetching about the situation. I need to do something. I'm certainly not under any illusion that one individual can totally improve the situation here, but I have to try. That's the only thing I can do is just try. Look, when I first came home, I knew of the problems in the army, the misconception, everything, specifically towards Gaza. And I started advocating for military reform. This was before judicial reform became a policy of the new conservative government led by Bibi Netanyahu. And it's something that I am laser focused on right now, because the changes that have to be made in our military establishment have not been made, even in the wake of October 7th. And so this forms a central focus of my campaign right now.
So, which party are you going to be running with?
Well, I'm not really sure right now. I'm weighing a lot of different options, including starting my own party. I know that the history is very good, but I have to start somewhere. And there are a lot of people that have indicated a desire to help me, and that's great. But I just have to wait and see whether I can fit into any of the current legacy parties. My main concern is not to do any damage to the right wing by wasting votes. So if I see that an independent run is not going to be very helpful or successful, rather, then I'll look on the right, the two right-wing parties, uh, the Religious Zionist Party, and of course Otzma Yehudit under Itamar Ben-Gvir, to see if I can join them.
What
But
about
right now,
Likud? What about Likud?
let me ask you a question, Zev. If somebody were to ask you, what does the Likud stand for? I think you would be rather hard-pressed to actually determine what they stand for apart from just Bibi Netanyahu. I have some very good friends in the Likud. Unfortunately, they're backbenchers. And they themselves have pretty much had it. It's corrupt. It's not focused. It's run by one man and one man alone. And everybody in the party is scared to death of him. And I don't really see any future for it. I think that Likud, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think that the Likud, unless it has a new leadership that can articulate a viable policy for Israel's future, I think that that party is going to take a bath in the next election.
But let me ask you a question. Don't you think that Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, and he served the longest running and serving prime minister in Israeli history, but after the war is over and there's going to be accountability, is you're going to have to see a whole new change. People who were at the top are going to have to resign or not run again.
I doubt that. I had hoped that after the war started, there would be a sea change, both politically and within the political establishment and within the military establishment. But there hasn't been. The old guard is dug in, and they're not going anywhere. Now, this old guard consists of people that a lot of the public just doesn't know about. You want to call it the deep state, you call it the deep state. But Bibi has now become a clear and present danger to the security and safety of our country. He has yet to take responsibility, any responsibility for what happened on October 7th. His policies since then have, to the outside world, looked like they've been pretty good, but they haven't been. They've been disastrous. And his latest acceptance of this Trump peace plan is just one more example of how unfit he is for office right now. The major problem that we're facing right now with regard to Gaza is that right after October 7th, Bibi categorically refused to indicate what the day after should look like. And that created a vacuum into which all these regional countries, including the United States, both under Joe Biden and Donald Trump, moved in to impose their own concepts of what the day after should be. And it's been an utter, unmitigated disaster ever since. And Bibi, unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize this, but he's somebody who has never been able to, as we say, pull the trigger. He prevaricates, he waits, he puts off, and he lets basically other countries, other people, other agendas determine what his policy will be. Right now, he reminds me of, the dog that catches the car. That's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of being a dog that catches the car. That is the day after, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And I talk to a lot of people who are internally displaced, both from the Gaza envelope communities and from the northern communities along the Lebanese border. And I can't really repeat on this show, and the legacy parties as well. But when I ask them, for example, the people from the South that are still in hotels, when you think of Gaza, what do you think of? And their answer is always the same. And I haven't had any, difference of opinion on this matter. It's a Gaza free of Arabs, annexed by Israel, and repopulated by Jews. When I talk to these people, these are all kind of left-wing people. And I've been happily shocked at the fact that at least these people have awakened from this naive notion that there could be peace specifically with these Islamo-fascists in Gaza. Bibi doesn't see it that way. He basically, a friend of mine, Aaron Lerner, describes him as a doormat, and that's true. And it's really tragic for us right now. So at least as far as the Likud is concerned, he's really led the party down a very dark and dangerous alley right now. And there are people in the party who, if they could take it over, would save it. But right now, I don't see it. I don't see it really regaining or gaining any additional votes and losing an awful lot of
this question, though, if the hostages come home and the bodies return home, wouldn't that help him politically in Israel?
No, not at all. Because people understand, not the left. See, the public has been sandbagged by the left. They took over the hostage issue and repackaged it they weaponized it as a tool against Bibi and the conservative government, this conservative coalition. If you when you live here and you actually listen to the family forums, that are run by the left, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And so people here fully understand, and you got to be careful with polls, because a lot of the left-wing polls are lies. I've found that out myself. I'm running polls right now, and boy, you have to be very careful when you read a poll that says 60% of the Israeli people want the hostages home. You have to get into the details of that poll to find out that that's not quite accurate. So right now, most people understand that our priorities should be the total destruction of Hamas. This is number one. But the left, it was really rapid, over the course of a couple of weeks, reprioritized the war to favor the return of the hostages at any cost. And people understand here that what that's done is it's validated the taking of hostages. So the hostage crisis, the hostage issue, is a difficult one for a lot of people here, for obvious reasons. But what you have to understand is it has been completely weaponized by the left. I've talked to the hostage forum, several of the leftist leaders of the hostage families. There's a conservative wing also that I've been involved with that stresses strength and resilience and the need to destroy Hamas in order to regain the
Hamas,
freedom.
can you really be destroyed? Can you kill
Yes.
every single last member of Hamas? Is that possible?
When you're talking about killing every member of Hamas, it's kind of an impossible goal to reach. What you have to do is destroy whatever you can and then expel everyone from Gaza. That's the only way. It's like a cancer doctor looking at the disease in a patient. His objective, of course, is to cure the patient and to destroy the cancer wherever it may be in the patient's body. But if necessary, he'll have to accept a partial victory. Well, in our case, we can't accept a partial victory. We have to go for a complete cure. And that means removing the entirety of the threat. The threat is not just Hamas. Hamas is a manifestation of the hatred and the anti-Semitic feelings of the Gazan population. They voted Hamas in. We have to remember that. It was a democratic election. They voted Hamas in, knowing what their agenda was, and they were sympathetic to it.
But at one point, President Trump was talking about relocating everybody from Gaza and rebuilding it, but that seems to no longer be on the table. Now they're talking about rebuilding Gaza with the Palestinian Authority and other Arab countries, right? Isn't that what's on the plan right now?
That's correct, and that's bringing it's because of the vacuum that Bibi left by his irresolution on this day after issue.
What should he be said to be the day after?
The day after should be the destruction of Hamas, the recovery of whatever hostages we can, and the remains of those who are dead that we can, the expulsion of the entire Gaza population.
Well, Bibi said a month ago that he'd like the Trump plan to relocate them and make it an oasis in the Middle East, but that's went nowhere.
That went nowhere because it wasn't serious. That's why. A lot of the stuff that Trump has put out by people like that was generated by people like Steve Witkoff, who is basically, as far as I'm concerned, this is my opinion, the opinion of many others, just a shill for the Qataris. Jared Kushner, who has been a complete and utter disaster for Israel. He's basically a Saudi agent. I mean, people don't understand that shortly after this peace plan was accepted, so-called peace plan was accepted by Bibi, the Saudis approved a $1 billion real estate deal for the Trump business empire. And Jared Kushner was part of that. This is all transactional. You have to understand that. It's all transactional. And as far as, relocating the Gazan population is concerned, right after the war started, we should have given Hamas 24 hours to release all the hostages and the remains of those who were killed, or else the destruction, the total unqualified destruction of Gaza from Jabalia in the east to Rafah in the west. Just level the place and be done with it. You have to understand that I and many others were scared to death of urban warfare. We can't afford it. I call what's been going on Stalingrad on the med, and we just can't afford that. My priorities are the safety and welfare of our soldiers, our sacred soldiers. But the army and the political establishment don't care. Whatever success about them, whatever successes that we've achieved since October 7th has been paid for with the blood and the sacrifice of our soldiers, not the leadership of our generals, who have been a complete failure from before, during, and now after October 7th. So when you look at the Trump peace plan, the one word that I think best characterizes it is delusional. Because all it's going to be doing, as a friend of mine, Abby Avalo, has just written in JNS, it's just rotating our enemies from Hamas to, if it works out, Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar. I mean, who in the world, who with a clear head would want these people in Gaza? You have to understand, the Egyptians are planning a war with us right now.
I've been
And they're
reading that
very
here out there. They're ready for war with Israel.
absolutely. I read one of their general staff operational plans that was published publicly, and it calls for a rapid advance up Gaza, from Rafah to Deir al-Balah to Khan Yunis to Gaza City, and then to the gates of Ashkelon and Ashdod, and then a right hook down to Beersheba. They're open about this, and this is why, from a strictly strategic standpoint, we have to have complete control over Gaza, and it can't really be explained in any other way, except that it's a matter of existential importance for us to make sure that we have defensive positions in Rafah and these other cities, all the way up the strip to the gates of Ashkelon and Ashdod, in order to rule out the possibility of a rapid blitzkrieg type advance by the Egyptian army up the coastal plain. I mean, these are details that a lot of people are unaware of, and the government, the army, and the media here, unfortunately, have been very good at really sandbagging the Israeli population in terms of this threat from Egypt right now. So on any number of fronts, we simply cannot allow the Trump peace plan to gain any traction. It's a complete and utter fantasy based on transactional relations between the individuals who formulated the plan, including President Trump, his family, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner in particular, and of course the former Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister, who's desperately looking for a paycheck.
This My Rate is Payday. Our guest is Jonathan Pollard, former Navy analyst, former spy for Israel, now running for Knesset. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. We'll try to squeeze in one or two phone calls. 212-769-1925. 212-769-1925. Want to email us, zev@talklinenetwork.com. A program note is that this Thursday night, October the 9th at 10 p.m., Dov Hikind Show with Curtis Lee, who was running for mayor of New York, be a live program. Don't miss it this coming Thursday night, 10 p.m. on the Talkline Network, WSNR 620 AM, WNEW 102.7 FM, HD3. And I was informed, by the way, that Dov Fisher, who was a member of the Jewish Defense League, a colleague of Dov Hikind, who was a rabbi in Los Angeles, also an attorney, unfortunately passed away a couple of days ago. We just had him on a few weeks ago regarding the Rabbi Blau letter regarding Gaza, and just saddened to hear about his passing. He certainly was a very committed and very passionate Jewish leader. We're going to be right back.
Suffering from foot pain that's dragging you down? This is Dr. Uriel Levy, your trusted board-certified podiatrist with over 30 years of experience. Whether it's plantar fasciitis, bunions, or everyday aches and pains, I'm here to bring you relief to your feet and get you moving pain-free for the season ahead. With expertise in orthopedic and medical foot care, I craft custom orthotics for between 50 and 100 patients every week, ensuring countless happy feet. Medicaid managed care covers custom-made orthotics if you need them, as well as shoes. Plus, I take a holistic approach, combining reflexology and Eastern medicine to support total foot and lower extremity wellness for every step you take. Think of me as a soul healer, not just a podiatrist. Visit me at my Borough Park office at 1453 44th Street, and I have a new office in Muncie, location to be announced. Please call at 347-386-5237. That's 347-386-5237. Or visit drsoulhealer.com to schedule your appointment today. Thank you. Don't let your feet defeat you.
Dreaming of a home or investment in Jerusalem or Ramat Shemesh? Realistic Realty turns that dream into a smart, achievable reality. We buy in bulk before properties hit the market, so you get exclusive access at below market prices. Even if you're not an Israeli citizen, we secure great low mortgage rates up to 90% and handle the financial legwork for you. Whether it's your first home or vacation escape or helping your kids settle, we've got you covered with pre-sale and built apartment options, free financial investment planning, personalized guidance, but feels more like a trusted friend than a pushy agent. Why rent when you can own? Turn your monthly payments into equity and your vision into value. Call Aaron Rietti for your personalized consultation at 929-653-4211. That's 929-653-4211. Or you can email realisticrealtyar@gmail.com. Realistic Realty, making Israel feel like home.
Rosh Hashanah and the Jewish holidays are coming, and it's time to celebrate with the authentic taste of Israel. Evan Zahav brings you the finest wines and spirits straight from the Holy Land. For a sweet new year, indulge in Evan Zahav's exquisite Goldstone Jerusalem of Gold orange liqueur, a unique blend of Galilean brandy and natural sweet and bitter oranges. Or savor the new premium Evan Zahav single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon, aged to perfection in French oak barrels. Its aroma of black fruits, vanilla, and oak will transport you to the vineyards of Israel. Looking for something truly special? Try our super smooth arak, the Israeli rum loved by everyone, or the Evan Zahav brandy VSOP in a luxurious gift box. And don't forget our award-winning Merlot, Cabernet, and the ever-popular Evan Zahav vintage. So this Rosh Hashanah, make a l'chaim to life and let your spirits be lifted up with the finest Evan Zahav kosher wines and spirits in the world from Israel, from Doina Limited. Hashanah Tova to you and your family from Doina.
Just want to, I'm getting a bunch of emails and some texts regarding voting. It's important. Everybody must register to vote. And I would urge everybody take the Chai pledge, get 18 people to vote, especially in the mayoral election. Very important one. And you vote for the candidate of your choice, but people must be voting. Do not stay away from that responsibility. It's such an important lesson. We'll talk more about that.
Best wishes for the new year from your friends at Marvid Poultry. For the last 60 years, Marvid Kosher Poultry has been providing the cleanest, finest, and tastiest chickens, turkeys, ducks, and Cornish hens for discriminating kosher customers. Marvid also has the most kosher supervision, including the OU, MK, and Isachtus as well. So start the new year by making sure Marvid is on your family's table. Available at the finest kosher supermarkets. A good yar and a Chag Kosher V'Sameach from Marvid Poultry. Ancient tradition, today's taste.
This is your number one station.
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
And we're back. Jonathan Pollard is our guest. He spent time in prison for spying for Israel. He's now living in Israel. He's not going to come back to the United States, as he said last. Had him on the show, and he's running for Knesset. By the way, if you ran for Knesset, and if you win, you have to give up United States citizenship, right? That's the rule.
That's the rule, but I don't think that's going to be much of a problem.
No, I don't think so either. Let's go to Henya in Crown Heights. Your question for our guest. Go ahead, Henya in Crown Heights. I'm sorry, Henya. We'll get you back. Let me ask you this question. I was bothered, and I understand we want to get the hostages home, and I think it's an important thing to get them home. But Turkey is certainly not a friend of Israel. Qatar is not a friend of Israel. So these are people going to maintaining the peace, so to speak. I just am puzzled, and I know that there's also a nuclear pact signed between Turkey and the United States as well, too.
Look, two issues that have gone largely unnoticed in the general press and in the Jewish press in particular, the Jewish media in particular, are the following. Trump's extraordinary security guarantee to Qatar, really directed against Israel, because no one else is going to attack them. I mean, they're allied to Iran, and the Saudis and the UAE are not really in the market right now for attacking Qatar, despite the fact that they have very serious problems with that government there. It's an extraordinary thing, because what's happened, and people have to understand this, is that the American government has now extended a defense umbrella for Hamas. in Qatar. This is the most ridiculous, counterproductive thing I've ever seen. Nobody that I know in the defense community could understand why the United States government granted major non-NATO ally status to Qatar. They are not a friend of the United States at all. You just have to listen to Al Jazeera to figure that out. And they are the principal financial supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood across the Middle East and the world. If you want to know why these intifada camps were built all over American campuses, you can look no further than Qatar. They've spent 20 years basically indoctrinating the next generation of leaders in this country, university graduates. The other thing that happened that people really have to wrap their heads around is this nuclear security guarantee that the Pakistanis have now given Saudi Arabia. Personally, I'm not so concerned about that, except for the fact that the Saudis have never ended their declared war against Israel. Back in 1948, they formally declared war against us. And so right now it's kind of an open book. Am I worried about that? Not exactly as far as the Saudis are concerned. But what the Saudis are threatening now is that if Israel isn't, quote, controlled by the United States to a larger degree than it is right now, they're going to push for this nuclear umbrella, Pakistani nuclear umbrella, to be extended to Qatar, Turkey, and Egypt. Now, in the case of Turkey and Egypt, you have to understand we're going to war against them. It's a certain eventuality. So if these two countries...
Egypt is ready. Let's squeeze in one or two phone calls because we're almost out of time. Henya and Crown has your question for Jonathan Pollard. Go ahead, Henya.
First of all, I would like to tell Mr. Pollard that I've heard him once before. I think it was on a YouTube station, and I agree with everything he says. He makes the most sense. He should be the president of Israel. At any rate, what's the matter with the Israelis? They have such a short memory. They had peacemakers over there, and they all disappeared before the war. They all ran away. What guarantees do they have that all under pressure they're not going to do that again? And putting in, it's like when somebody comes and murders your wife and your children and burns the babies alive, are you going to tell them, come inside and come take over my house? I'm going to let you live next door. Doesn't make sense. I mean, these are supposed to be smart people. What are they so afraid of? I mean,
I'll let Jonathan respond to you in the interest of time. Let Jonathan respond.
Yeah. First of all, you're a very smart person. Okay, our history, our experiences with third-party peacekeepers has been deplorable, whether it's been in Syria, Lebanon, or Gaza before the 1967 war. Okay, as far as short memories are concerned, it's horrible here. It's horrible. People, I mean, the fact that a man like Naftali Bennett has such a large number of voters willing to support him, just shows you how short-term people's memories are here. But you have to remember one other thing. As bad as things are, the people here have been propagandized and indoctrinated by a leftist media into thinking a certain way. And so when you ask a very legitimate question, have people forgotten, what our experiences have been with third-party peacekeepers, you have to understand they've been basically brainwashed into forgetting that.
Henya, thank you for your phone call. John, we're almost out of time. When will you announce if you're going to join a party or make your own party?
Shortly. We're going through an awful lot of data right now, and we're engaged in a lot of discussions right now. And when we finally figure out what the correct path should be, hurt the right wing in Israel, then we'll announce it.
John, thank you. Look forward to having you back again. And when's the election going to be? Nobody knows yet, right?
Flip a coin.
I guess when
we don't have no idea. Nobody has an interest right now in going to elections, but they're coming. because the level of anger and frustration in this country with the political establishment and the military is reaching a critical point right now.
Jonathan, thank you. Shana Tova, look forward to, we'll speak very, very soon.
Shana Tova, looking forward to it.
Jonathan Pollard here on the Talkline Network. Okay, that puts a lid on our program.